I learned some of the most important lessons at Bellarmine in the wrestling room. As a wrestler, 95% of your success rate depends on what you do before the match starts. For me, at that time, it taught me that lesson that if I look for any little way to adjust and improve, it helped me develop confidence in my own ability to prepare and be successful. It helped me develop a strong sense of responsibility. I think that sense of responsibility is just a core tenet of our family's values. My dad grew up as a farm worker, traveling around the state with his family. My mom was the daughter of the first Mexican longshoremen in Los Angeles. They came up in the first EOP class, Extended Opportunities Program at San Jose State. While they were here, it was during the time of the Chicano movement. They would talk a lot about how we have a responsibility when we go someplace new to hold the door open so that more people like us and from our communities can pass through after us. And so there's that sense of cultural responsibility, familial responsibility, but also for myself, knowing that if I'm not ready to hold the door open, if I don't do the work ahead of time when I have that opportunity, I won't be ready to act on it. My experience in Bellarmine, as light as I am, I still noticed that there was very few people who looked like me. And there wasn't a very diverse campus. It was a very challenging time too, because it was one of the first times that I felt like a minority. I got to meet people from different communities across San Jose, and that was nice for me because I got exposed to a lot of different things. I think the challenge was, I felt like I was constantly having to justify why I was here. I had pressure to do that I don't think some of the other kids did. Part of it was from kids' comments about the kids who come from the East Side, the assumption that because you have work study that your family's poor, or that or that you're undeserving. This was around the time when the first news reports about Latinos becoming the majority in California started coming out. So you start to feel some of those currents within the community and in classes and conversations in class. La Raza Unida was created as a place for us to be able to not only hang out and socialize, but also to find ways to learn and share what we know about our culture. One of our events, we were looking for a little bit of money, and someone told us to go ask Mr. Pinkston, right? And we were all nervous, terrified. It was like, at that time, Mr. Pinkston wasn't a cuddly figure for us. We go in there and we're like, we got this idea, we're super excited. And he sat there and he listened to us, straight face. And then he said, tell me why you deserve this. We went through a process with him of talking about how not only is our culture relevant and valuable, but it deserves to be celebrated. And there's benefit to other people in celebrating that and exposing them to perspectives and events and culture and things that they may not normally be exposed to. And there's value to that, to the whole Bellarmine community. The way he framed it for me then made a lot of sense and carried on to the work that I do beyond that, and in college and beyond. I recently reread my college essay that I wrote for schools. My parents always talking to us about holding the door open. But what I told them is, I said, it's not enough for me. I want to remodel and remove the wall. And that for me has been the whole intent. It's great if we can help one or two people, but how can we create systemic changes that create opportunity for more people? The work that I do now, I'm the Senior Vice President for Economic Resilience for an organization called Community Health Councils. My role there is to create a local living economy in South Los Angeles. But ultimately what it means is I'm looking to create connections between where the community is here, at the grassroots level, to where the resources are here. And unfortunately right now in LA and in communities like LA, there's a lot of resources, but the community doesn't have the technology, the skill sets, the luxury of time, the training, or the education to access them. And so there needs to be a connection or a bridge. And that's essentially what I do. And I do that for community health councils. My consulting company is called Concern Capital. It's the same thing, where we work with manufacturers to help them grow But the whole intent is to also transition the ownership from the retiring owner to the workers so that they can benefit in terms of the profits from the things that they're making. My team at Concern Capital does consulting all over the country, and we help other communities learn how to do these things. The focus is always going to be, how do we create more a community that works for all of us and not just the ones who have more access or who start, further ahead. For the last 5, maybe 6 years, me and a group of alumni in Los Angeles have been hosting some Latino students from Bellarmine who come down and do a college tour in Southern California. We host a dinner, and then me and the 3 other guys talk about our experiences and our roles. I made a choice really early on to be vulnerable to them and tell them the stories and trials and tribulations that I had. That Bellarmine was great in terms of academic preparation, that it was useful in terms of learning how to navigate space when you're a minority or people don't look like you, but that it was so hard. Because it's hard, you make mistakes. And learning from those mistakes is key to being able to move on and recover. As I've been thinking more about it, I think it made a really big impression on me and my outlook on the world and where I want to be.